What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Brennan, aka Drip from Team D.D D, back with another video and another Shaddoll video. In today's video, we have the combo video that I told you guys if you got my profile to 40 likes, that I would release a combo video and more in-depth discussion over certain cards and certain interactions and stuff like that. So you guys hold up your end of the bargain. So now it's my turn for me to hold up mine. But before we get into this video, guys, if you do not mind, please smash the like button, smash the subscribe button as well, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload, and check the description for all the ways to support me, my Patreon, my Discord down there, and my TCG affiliate link, and the merch store, and everything down there as well. Go get you some Team D.D merch. I'm going to be releasing some Shaddoll merch soon, and some consistency greater than utility merch as well, so be on the lookout for new merch. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video, guys. Alright guys, here we are at combo number 1, and this combo number 1 is pretty standard and straightforward. This is what High Spirits and either Squamata or Hedgehog gets you. It can be Squamata or Hedgehog or any spellcaster really. It's just the best ones to draw would be the Squamata or the Hedgehog, because you can just do the same thing just a little backwards. But what you do is in the draw phase to play around Droll and Lockbird, you would go draw phase, Brandon High Spirits. It resolves, so that means it doesn't reveal for cost. So it you just activate it. If they don't ash it, then you reveal. You will then reveal the Squamata, and then you will reveal the Granganol because it's a level 8 or higher spellcaster. Then send these to graveyard to add the Cartesia from deck to hand. Squamata effect will activate in graveyard to be able to Foolish. We will then Foolish the Hedgehog. Hedgehog effect will then activate to add the Windy. Because now we don't have a target besides our Shaddolls in our extra deck for Cartesia, which is perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. What we'll do now is proceed to go to main phase. Normal summon the Cartesia. Cartesia effect to fuse. Then we will go and fuse into our construct. Put Mommy up here. Mommy Chainlink 1. Windy Chainlink 2. We will then set the beast. And then we will Foolish the Schism just to get it in rotation. We will then, since Construct is summoned in extra monster zone, that's another reason why it's always important to put your extra monster in the extra monster zone to be able to link them away for your gravity controller, to be able to get your graveyard effects off your fusions and stuff. Construct effect will target the Schism to add back and then reset. And then during this is all you got. Then during end phase, High Spirits will be able to add itself back. Granted, it's pretty much a dead card now, but it's still a discard fodder off of Super Poly if you have a Super Poly, or the Eldritch the Golden Lord if you have it. Still during end phase, we'll proceed to add back the Cartesia, which is not dead. And then we have Granganol and Graveyard for additional interruption. So what we get off of this is our Schism, which can make any fusion we want. We can make another Construct, we can make an App Cologne, or we can make Winda. And then we got a Pot of Greed to keep ourselves in the card advantage pool on our opponent's turn if they attack into it. And then whatever else, that was just 2 cards. We have 3 other cards left in hand. That could be anything. Could be extra doll names, could be a Nadir Servant, could be anything. But that's just what the 2 cards get you. Granted, if you opened, instead of Squamata, you opened the Hedgehog, then you would just, when you did that, you would use Hedgehog to send, when you send the Hedgehog will add the Squamata. The reason why is because it's the same combo, just backwards, but in theory, it's actually more insulated if you keep Squamata in hand. The reason being is because if you were to normal summon the Cartesia and they were to impermanent, Squamata in hand is technically better. Reason being is because on our opponent's turn, when we go to combo, we can, a lot of the decks right now are graveyard reliant, or they have a field spell or some kind of important continuous spell. So the Squamata plays a role in that, because we could time our Cartesia properly to make a construct on their turn to be able to send this, and we will get a double Foolish off of this, and then construct on their turn. So this could be able to send like an Aerial to Triple Crow, like if we're playing against Fiendsmith, we're playing against Snake Eye or something like that. And then the construct can send a Dragon or whatever else we need be, or another Windy to set up more follow-up. People say, like, we're playing against Snake Eye, and we wait until they get their graveyard full. So then we go Constructs, send make Constructs, and this, and then send Dragon. Dragon pop OSS or the Field Spell, and then this to triple D.D. Crow, and we pretty much hinder their combo on their turn, and then this can be able to tag out into a Lulu Wallace, since we don't need to go the Quem route, since we already used Cartesia this turn, so we just go Lulu Wallace. We could have gone Lulu Wallace before we activated this, so we can get Lulu Wallace effect to buff everything, so it's pretty nice too, and negate an additional card, which I know that sounds like a lot, but let me back up, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, here we are at the Hedgehog version, and the, like, if we were to get stopped, or just the more insulated / playing cautious, which is, there's never anything wrong with that. Draw phase, High Spirits, doesn't get interrupted. You reveal. I've seen a lot of people, I want to pause right here. I've seen a lot of people getting upset at the fact that we just burn our Granganol, which means our Cartesia doesn't have no target, excuse me. That's completely wrong. I think you're looking at it from a different point of view. This card is nice to make, yes, and hard to make, but it does us more benefits in the graveyard because it turbos out our Lulu Walleth, which it can do it on field too, I get that. But it can also turbo out a Lulu Walleth, or it turbos out our Quem, which is the main purpose of this card anyways, but outside of being an extra Nadir Servant. But if we set up our Cartesia anyways, we're going to be making Construct anyways to be able to set up the Schism, which is another reason that what this card does anyways. It's a Nadir Servant that sets up Schism or El Shaddoll Fusion or whatever else we need, which Construct can very easily do that just as much as this. So don't get it confused. Yeah, it kind of sucks burning it, because then we just have our Constructs to be able to make, but by that point after that, you're pretty much just winning the game anyways, if you burn through both Constructs with Cartesia. So use that. Now this is when you go and search for, which you could search Quem too, but obviously you're just going to be searching Cartesia. I think some people forget you can search Quem with High Spirits too. And then the Hedgehog will activate. You add the Squamata. So now let's say we normal summon and they impermanence and we have no other extension. All right. So now what we will do is we'll pass. This is where your discipline comes into play. You have to know your opponent's deck better than you know your own, because you have to know when to time your interruptions. So what we'll do is we'll wait. So let's say we're playing against Snake Eye, for an example. They go blah blah blah, add Poplar summon itself. Poplar was summoned off of a monster effect, which meets the requirements for this to be able to use its effect. So now let's just say we want to go for more interruptions, because we're going to be using this to make Construct anyways to be able to get more follow-up. So we banish this to summon the Lulu Walleth, because right now Quem isn't needed. So we summon the Lulu. This is another reason why you have to know your opponent's deck too, or know your interactions, because you need to know what route to go. You need to know to go to Quem route, or you need to know to go Lulu Walleth route. So you summon this, okay? Now, let's say you let them go Fiendsmith. They go half Fiendsmith combo, and they have Temple up, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, so now what we'll do is, this is where we got to go. We go Cartesia effect, Fuse. All right, so remind you, they have a full graveyard up, okay? They have full graveyard of their level 1s, and let's say their board is probably Flamberg, Field Spell, and Link to Fiendsmith. All right, the one that fuses. So what we'll do is we would go Construct right here. Okay. Now chains, we will go. We got a chain block the ones that are going to send from deck just to play around Ash. So what we'll do here is we'd go Chainlink 1 Construct, Chainlink 2 Squamata, Chainlink 3 Lulu Walleth. And just to double check and make sure, because I don't want to mislead you guys, it does not target. Okay. Because you don't even have to use the second effect. So what we'll do here is now this would get buffed, and this would get buffed by 500 because a monster was left the extra deck. And then we can non-target negate a card on the field. So we negate the Link 2, negate the Link 2, okay? The Link 2 is negated, so now they can't fuse. Now what we'll do is go, since that card is negated, we don't really have to banish their stuff from graveyard, but we still want to, so we can be able to get rid of the level 1s. This is all insinuating, by the way, that they didn't open Azamina combo. If they opened Azamina, then you would start out earlier. You would do this earlier because you need to stop them from trying to get to their their negate. So like if they start out with their continuous spell, you would have to shotgun this early before you even make Lulu, probably, to be able to send the dragon to be able to pop their back row. But this is insinuating they didn't open Azamina. So what we do here is this is providing yourself with no follow-up, by the way. You can either provide yourself with no follow-up and just play overly aggressive, or you can play mid-range, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send a Wendy with Squamata, and then I am going to send the Ariel. Now, what I'm going to be targeting with this stuff is I'm going to use Wendy as Chainlink 1 to prevent Ash, and then I'm going to use Ariel as Chainlink 2. Ariel is going to mainly target their Fiendsmith stuff and their level 1s. You got to deny them their level 1s. The reason being is their level 1s is what helps them link climb into OTKing you or breaking your board with the Zealantis combo. So if you could prevent them from having level 1s and follow-up, then you're just pretty much big chilling. So now what we're going to do is Chainlink 1, Wendy, Chainlink 2, Ariel, triple D.D.D Crow, their level 1s, and their Fiendsmiths. And then Ariel is going to summon follow-up in the form of Beast. You could summon Falco to technically get a 2-for-1. But if it looks like they don't have a way to attack you twice, basically, because you don't want to use the Falco to summon something back. You could have summoned back a Hedgehog if you wanted to be able to get a Shaddoll fusion or something, or an L, or your Schism. It's all up to personal preference. I just want to get the draw 2, personally. So now, because regardless, if they out this is going to replace itself anyways. So we get what we need regardless off of that. So now... they're pretty much stopped dead in their tracks. They have no other way of really extending. They can extend, but they're not going to be able to get any follow-up. They'll still probably be able to make the Promethean Princess, but they're not going to get any pluses off of their level 1s to having more bodies and stuff like that to be able to summon back a Flamberg and stuff like that. And even if they out this board, they can't kill us really with what they got, and this destroys destroyed by card effect if its battles a special summon monster, and then this replaces itself. Not only that, this is a big 3,300 Kachunga or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much how you would interact it. How I would interact on my opponent's turn. It all boils down to what they have. But like I said, if they started Deception, you have to shotgun the Cartesia to be able to get rid of that. So they can't get to the negate or the Rhoda or whatever, unfortunately. But yeah. But let's go ahead and get into test hand / combo number 3. Now this is just your basic 1-card combo. It's like if you bricked up and you only drew a Nadir Servant. This is what Nadir Servant can get you. What we'll do is we'll obviously just activate Nadir Servant. It resolves. We would send the Garua, okay, and then we would add our Maximus. Garua would draw us a random card, per se, just random card, okay. Now what we could do is Maximus is an inherent summon, it doesn't activate. To banish the Garua, now what we do is the Maximus effect. Your main targets that you're always going to send is an Apcalone and the Granganol, because Granganol gives us our interaction in the form of summoning Lulu Walleth or summoning the Guiding Quem, and then obviously Apcalone being Apcalone. So what we can do here is obviously Apcalone effect. Apcalone will add whatever we need, and this form will be Schism. Then we just pitch said random card and then add the Schism. We will then set the Schism and then proceed to pass turn. Now, what interaction this gives us on our opponent's turn is obviously a, this will give us either a construct or a window. I think we can get to a window. Let me see here. I'm thinking. Hold on. Think a couple steps ahead. No. Well, yeah, actually we can, but it's not the smartest route. What we could do is we will go and wait and use the Granganol banish. Here I would go for the Quem route. Because if you want to go Winda, you have to go the Quem route first, unfortunately, because you don't have another dark. So what we go is blah, 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 into this. Okay. Now, we already ripped 2 out of their extra decks, so they're kind of setting behind if they're a tier 1 deck right now because they don't really have the extra deck space to be able to have. They need every single card, basically. They summon every single one. Effect to send this. Now, what we can do is when they summon something from the extra deck, if you want to, or if you need a shotgun the Schism to make a construct to be able to banish something from graveyard or pop a back row, then you could. But this is just if you wanted to go the window route. They summon something from extra deck. Summon, effect, fuse. Let's see. Fuse these 2. Per se, just to keep a cartesia on board. Make this. Now, if you absolutely need to make a window is kind of small, so if you're making it this late in their combo, they could have something to attack over it. But let's say they don't. If they don't, then you go Schism, banish the App Clone, and then banish the Masquerade to make your window. Make window. Okay. So that's that. But it just all depends. You have to fill out the game if you're that desperate for window. It just depends. It just depends on what you're playing against and filling out the thing. But that's how you would get to window with just 1 card. And then obviously you have this in rotation now, so you're good. If it doesn't get attacked over, then you can make a construct on your turn, and then you're just golden. But that's it for the combo slash test 10 number 3. Let's go ahead and get onto the next or discussion, whatever I think I'm going to do next. I'm not really sure. All right, here we are at the next test 10 slash discussion. Let's go ahead and draw it up here and see what we get. Cartesia, Dark Ruler, that, and that. This will be a disgusting hand going second. I can play through an Imperm. You can't play through Imperm Ash but either way, if they stop us, we have Super Poly. If they play any lighter darks, we're still getting there, like Swimwear. But we normal summon. If they were to stop, if they had Imperm and Ash, what we could do is, I'm just going to show you, and they were playing lighter and dark based, we could Super Poly take this and our lighter dark, make the Granganol, so we have the Granganol in rotation, Granganol effect, send from extra deck or send from the main deck. Since we run the Eldritch now, we can send from the main deck. To send App Clone. App Clone will add the, you can add another Shaddoll fusion since this one would have been burned from Ash, and then pitch the Hedgehog. Hedgehog will go to the graveyard to add a, another Shaddoll fusion, and then later on we could use the Granganol to banish a summon Lulu since we already burned the Cartesia. But yeah, let's say it doesn't get stopped, but that's how I would play it if I got stopped Impermed and Ash, because they open Imperm Ash 2 out of 5 cards. Unless they're playing tier 1, they're not going to have very much to play on your turn anyways, and Super Poly is going to pretty much just break their rest of their plans for the most part. Definitely not being able to play through OTK. But they didn't stop us. Normal summon. Effect. Pretty much the same thing we're going to do in their turn, except we're going to set ourselves up a little bit better offensively. Summon the extra deck zone into the Hedgehog. And blah, blah, 1, 2. Hedgehog's going to add the Squam. Squam's always good to have in case you get stopped, because it can turn into anything, is the reason why it's so important. That. We'll send the App Clone. App Clone's going to go and get the obvious here. being Schism, because Schism's any Shaddoll monster you want. Now, what we'll do is we will foolish this because we have to discard. Squam effect. Send Windy. Windy effect. Set up whatever you need. I just always like to get the higher level 5 out of deck and to get a Pot of Greed if our opponent hits it. Now, what we can do is, I like to link this off because I like to have an access to an extra dark so we don't have to burn no other resources that we don't want to for window. So this can be a window resource, and I like having this in graveyard to prevent like droplets or something like that, so or evenly matched. So you have an extra layer of interruption, because if it left on board and you get evenly matched and you're forced to get rid of this or Schism, as where if you link this away, you're doing yourself a favor by giving yourself an extra dark that's just free to get rid of if you make a window, and an extra layer in the form of playing around droplets and evenly matched with this being in the graveyard because it can banish itself from graveyard as well. That's another thing to keep in mind. Now what we'll do here is we would set the Schism and the Super Poly in phase. We will add back the Cartesia, and this is our hand. Our hand's down here, and this is our board. What this gives us is obviously an interruption in the form of Super Poly. A Granganol, we can actually get to full combo here. If you didn't need to burn the Schism on like a Super Poly, Schism to make window, what we'd do is how I'd play it out. If I knew the deck I was playing against played hard into Super Poly where I could take their cards, and I knew I didn't have to worry about their monsters attacking over my window, I would go this route. Banish when they played into Granganol, because the majority of decks play into Granganol right now. Move these out of the way. I will then proceed to summon the Guiding Quem effect to try to foolish. If you tried to foolish off of her effect and they asked you, which is kind of weird. If they were going to ask you, they should have asked you on the Granganol, but they didn't. So let's say they asked this, you still have the Cartesian hand to pitch off of Super Poly to get it in rotation, which kind of works out. Because then it would also trigger her effect to summon back because it'll be then in graveyard. Just keep that in mind too. Let's just foolish though, so they don't have an Ash. Now, what we will do is, let's say they have 2 monsters on board to play into Super Poly. We will then pitch... I would pitch the Dark Rulers, definitely, since they didn't, that we still have the Cartesian graveyard, to Super Poly to take their 2 monsters. Let's say they played into Grua or whatever. Don't matter. There's just a lot of decks right now that have the same types. Play into Grua. Trigger Cartesia's effect. Not Cartesia, but Quem. Sorry, I apologize. To summon back the Cartesia. Now what we can do is effect to take her, and we'll just use the gravity controller because it's a dark, to make the Masquerade. Now what we can do is now our stuff's just free. So now if we wanted to, we could just make, because we took their whole board, they don't really have anything. Play Schism. When they play into it, banish the gravity controller and the Ab Clone, since it can't be legally summoned back anyways because it wasn't properly fusion summoned, to bring out the one and only window. So now we have what this board gives us. I'm sorry about that. Now, obviously, they're going to burn for 600 for every card they activate or effect they activate. They're probably going to summon this when you have already locked them. Like if they in the process of non-inherent summoning, then you just window lock them. Then what this gives you is, definitely since you have 2 in rotation now because this is your hand, you have a Chaos Angel on your turn, a draw 1, and an extra fuse because you're going to no-summon a fuse, and then you're just going to kill them if you want to. But you're probably not going to play that hard because what you're going to do is end up making Chaos Angel, banish a card, draw a card, and then Pot of Greed, and then kill them, because they're going to burn more from this, and you just kill them. But yeah, this is pretty much full combo. Yes, this doesn't have to be Guru. It could be Mud Dragon. It could be anything. I'm just saying that's what this is. But this is basically what you want to get to You, like I said before, you just have to fill out the matchup. Fill out the matchup in the form of where you want to go, because if you don't want to go the Guiding Quem route to make this, then you just go Lulu to get an extra negate. Do you need the negate, or do you know that they can play through the negate and to where you can burn them for a lot of life points? That's basically just comes down to you and how you get comfortable with the deck and comfortable with your matchups. But this is basically where you want to be, because you have so much follow-up in form of this, names engrave. You can link these two away to make SP, to banish a card, summon this back, and then proceed to make a construct to send Resh to get access to this back, make Chaos Angel. And then what a lot of people are failing to remember or realize is, yes, summoning this back off Resh sucks because it's in defense position and it only has 800 defense. But after you make the Chaos Angel, your monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. So they can't attack over it while it's in defense position. So next turn you just switch it to attack, and guess what? It can actually attack directly then because it wasn't summoned off Schism. So people forget that the Chaos Angel protects your monsters from being destroyed by battle. It doesn't only just protect your synchros, but just for the battle part. But yeah, that's what's really nice, and that's why I think Resh is a necessary evil in this deck. But when it comes to like this, like I said, this is where you want to be. But in the form of like siding patterns, I know some people are probably gonna be wanting siding patterns, and in like a game 2, and you know you're going second, I'll side out the Quem. Side out the probably one High Spirits. Side out the Hound. Side out one L. Side out. It also just depends on what you're playing against. Side out probably the Foolish. Side out the Resh, and I think that gives you 6 or 7, maybe 8 cards for room. Whatever. I'm terrible at math, and I was just counting off the top of my head. Maybe at least 5 to 7 cards, which is fair. And you're already set up to go second anyways with the 3 Shaddoll Fusion, 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Super Poly, and the rest of them. And you don't want to side out too much consistency. You don't want to side out too much consistency just for utility. Like my saying is, consistency over utility always, because our deck breaks boards anyways. But this is basically it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm so sorry that it's really, really long. If there's anything else that I may have forgot or that you may need help with, just let me know in the comment section down below, or in the Discord. You can let me know there, and I'll be glad to help you guys. I really like this version of the deck. It feels very consistent, very nice. I really like the addition of the Masquerade and the utility it provides in the form of a ability to float, and to have an extra problematic card, because a lot of people who doesn't really know Shaddolls just thinks the deck is just Winda and that's it. There's more to it. The deck has a lot more utility than that, and that's why them thinking that is why they fuck around and find out. But I hope you enjoyed, guys. I love making these video, guys, and be on the lookout for more content, and probably me still. I'm going to stay cooking with Shaddolls. I always do. So be on the lookout for more Shaddoll content if you like that. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And your boy Drip will talk to you later. Peace. Good doing, my guys. I love you.